And welcome into another edition of Tobs Talk, everyone. I am Riley Corcoran. The Tobs take on the Edenton Steamers tonight for the Tobs' 5th matchup of 8 this year between their East Division rivals. So far, 2-2 between the two sides. Tobs took the first 2 meetings of the year, the first 2 games of the season, before losing the last 2 to Edenton, who did win the first half and has a very impressive 25-8 record overall. That's best in the Coastal Plain League. But of those 25 wins, 11-2 at home, so a little bit different on the road. We'll see if the Tobs can take advantage of that. On the mound tonight for Wilson be the left-hander Julio Valdez out of Alabama State. He's 1-1 with an ERA under 3. It's been very good for Wilson his last couple times out. We'll see if he can continue that trend. On the mound for Edenton will be the right-hander Connor Cuff out of Penn. He is 3-1 with an ERA just over 2, so he has been equally as impressive for the Edenton Steamers. 5th matchup out of 8 tonight. Fantastic Friday, presented by Wilson Orthopedic. We have a great episode of Tobs Talk coming up for you. Austin Love and I will break down what was a game against Peninsula. The Tobs just missed out on losing 3-2. Tough loss against Kernersville in that exhibition contest, but a big stretch coming up for Wilson with 3 games in the next 2 days. Tonight against Edenton, 2 more against Fayetteville tomorrow on the road. Those will certainly be big in determining those East Division standings as the Tobs make their push towards the playoffs. Bobby Gazzolo will join me later on in the show, big anchor in the Tobs bullpen this year. Then Matt, Mike, and I will break down tonight's matchup against the Edenton Steamers. That's all coming up. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran, Austin Love back with you here on Tobs Talk, getting ready to take on the Edenton Steamers for the 5th meeting this year. Tobs and the Steamers 2-2 so far. And Coach, again, it's more of the rain out, the rain coming here in North Carolina. Washed out yesterday, but being able to maybe get the rotation set up for the next couple of days. Again, it seems like the off days, the rain days have come at good times in the schedule, especially after maybe a tough loss against Peninsula on Tuesday and then that exhibition one against Kernersville on Wednesday. Is that kind of how you feel, too, with the way that these have positioned out at least?
Yeah, they've been a blessing a bit because we have been kind of worn out from even just traveling and even not playing in some situations because of the rain. And yesterday we were able to have a small workout real quick and attack some of our trouble areas, and I think the guys responded pretty well. They, made the adjustments that we're looking to offensively. So, hopefully we'll get the night in and, make those adjustments in the game and get a win. And
something we didn't really get to talk about on the last Tobs Talk, a big moment for the Wilson franchise, as well as maybe your coaching career, some of the guys playing careers. John Fitzsimmons gets picked up by the Kansas City Royals, signing a free agent deal after pretty much one dominant performance. It was interesting because we knew he did not come to Wilson until after the draft because of that possibility. Didn't work out for him, and then all of a sudden, he's in Wilson for a couple weeks. He has a great all-star game, and the rest is history at this point. Were you surprised at how quick that moved for John?
I was surprised that they waited until the all-star game. But, the way it moved quickly, I was not surprised. He did very well in the all-star game. His secondary stuff was awesome. And, with an arm like that, this time of year, Kansas City didn't waste any time, and they showed him some money, and he liked the offer, and it's kind of what he wanted to do. He wanted to be drafted in earlier in the summer, and he got that opportunity, so he jumped at it, and we're very proud of him and excited for him.
And something, too, maybe the rest of the bullpen, everyone else can feed off more motivation. Hey, some guy that we just played with just got signed. He's picked up. He's playing for Burlington right now and getting going with his major league career. Is that kind of how you hope at least the players respond, that motivation? Hey, I mean, we played with someone like this. We can be on that same level if we work as hard maybe as someone like John did.
I think our guys have kind of felt like that anyway. From where, when we played Team USA, we had pretty much all the major league clubs represented, 3 or 4 cross-checkers in the stands. So I think they know the stage that they're playing on, and that their talents are being recognized, and that as coaches we're also putting the word out there for them. So I think more so it's just helping them remember the process of doing things correctly and playing the game with pride and doing things right and hustling and all that stuff, and trying to keep them on the straight and narrow when they do have some failure so that they can be seen properly.
And certainly, again, a great moment for the Wilson Tobs franchise with John Fitzsimmons getting picked up. Let's get back to the team at hand right now. After the All-Star break, a tough loss. It was a good game against Peninsula, but just came up a little bit short. Then that game against Kernersville, tough that day game after a night game. We knew that was going to be an issue. Kernersville's a pretty good team. Let's go back to that Peninsula loss. I mean, it was close back and forth, and certainly the Tobs had their chances in the later innings. Do you feel like, one, they got away, just a good pitcher's duel, and sometimes that's baseball? Or how did you approach that game after you were leaving the yard? I mean, it had to be a frustrating loss, but how did you feel leaving the yard that night?
After that game, I felt like we had a little bit of all-star break lag. Our offense got slow. started off slow. I felt like it was kind of 2 games, actually.
Right.
I felt like the first 4 innings, their pitcher was pretty dominant. And, we really didn't show any signs of life offensively. And in the second half of the game, we started to do some things that we're very capable of doing. And we started too late. We've done that a couple times this year. We started the game too late for us, and we need to get going in the first inning. And when we do score in the first inning, we need our pitcher to go out and put a 0 up as well. So that's kind of where we've been at. When we do score early, we struggle on the mound, or defensively. So we need to kind of put it all together here and make a good stretch run at it toward the Pettit Cup playoffs.
And looking at the big picture now, it's very unique to me. I know you played in this league, so I want to get your perspective on it. But 4 teams right now, 3rd through 6th, all have 17 wins. But yet, Fayetteville's only played 29 games to Morehead City. They've played 36. I mean, just the disparity with how many games people get in. But 3rd through 6th is so close right now with all 4 teams having 17 wins. That's something that you approach. Of course, you're frustrated that you cannot play, but to have 7 games difference between 2 teams like Morehead City and Fayetteville right now, is that something you've seen before, or just something about the Coastal Plain League that you're used to?
I'll be honest with you, when I played, I don't really remember the format or anything like that. I just try to go out there and play hard. It is frustrating, though, especially toward the end of the first half when teams did get games in, and we weren't able to, so. And the unbalanced schedule is, I know some things that people have issues with, but, you just got to go out there and win the game in front of you. So that's what we're going to try to do, is win every single game. It's that time of the year where, platooning is kind of thrown out the window. We need to play the guys that are hot and the guys that deserve to be in the lineup, who have the numbers offensively, and those guys that are putting in the work and making changes and making adjustments. So, hopefully we'll get going, and we need to find that stretch run where we not only win 3 in a row, but we win 4, 5, and 6, and that's kind of what we need right now to get us going in the right direction.
And it'd be at a good time right now playing the Edenton Steamers tonight. Fayetteville in a doubleheader on Saturday. Currently Wilson in 4th place, just ahead of Wilmington right now in the East Division standings. But let's look at tonight. Let's turn the page. Edenton, the 5th time that seen the Steamers this year, won the first 2 meetings, the first 2 games of the year. The last 2 went Edenton's way, but obviously a very good team. They have the best record in the Coastal Plain League right now. Julio Valdez going to the mound, a different arm for them to see. What do you expect from Julio and the team tonight? Hopefully responding, getting refreshed after that off day.
I think Julio's a good matchup for them with the slow game that he has, off-speed stuff. They've got some really, really big offensive guys, and hopefully in our ballpark, he can mix in his change-ups and his 2 seams and all that stuff and get them to roll over and pop up a little bit. Again, it's from an offensive standpoint. We need to get going early offensively. I know early in the season, we really attacked them in the stolen base department. We've kind of fallen off from there because we haven't had the runners on first to make it happen. But fortunately, we've been getting doubles and some home runs there when we need them. But, it'd be nice to get a couple Judy hits and get some guys on the base so we can run a little bit and, just stay on the aggressive and attack and hopefully come out with a win.
And referencing that stolen base game, 2nd game of the year, the Tobs stole 7 bases against the Steamers. See if we see more of that tonight. We'll talk with Bobby Gazzola coming up next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran back here with Bobby Gazzola here on Tobs Talk. A standout in the bullpen this year for Wilson, and a pleasant surprise at least. 15 appearances for you, Bobby. You lead the Coastal Plain League in that. Your ERA is under 2, and a no-nonsense kind of pitcher. You go out, you take the ball, you throw strikes, you get the job done. But has this year been kind of a surprise to you with the way that the numbers you put up, with how successful you've been? I mean, the hard work finally paying off on the field. What did you expect really coming into Wilson this summer?
Well, coming into Wilson, I wanted to work on my mechanics and just get better as a whole, and work on some off-speed pitches. I guess it is a little bit surprising that I'm having some success, this quick, but hopefully I can keep it going.
Yeah, 15 appearances again, leading the Coastal Plain League, the ERA under 2. But Bobby, I want to tell everyone a little about your journey in the sense where you did not become a full-time pitcher until just maybe a couple years ago. In the last year, you played at Hofstra, you played in the field, shortstop, I believe, middle infield, then over to Western Nevada, now at Reinhardt University. But you just became a pitcher a little bit ago. What was that process like, that transition? I mean, it's not easy, especially at this level, being high up.
At first, it started out, I was a 2-way. At Western Nevada, and then this past year at Reinhardt, I decided to just choose pitching, so I just worked on that, and then just keep building on that. That's what I've been doing ever since.
And again, that bullpen role for you has been pretty nice coming out there. And did your arm ever get tired in the sense of stamina-wise? Because you lead the league in games finished, games appearance. You've been out there 15 different times now, the ERA under 2. How's your stamina hold up, especially with maybe not having that pitching regimen where you're used to throwing that much?
At first, it was pretty bad. I would almost be sore after a bullpen or something like that. But now it's pretty good. I think my arms might be getting into pitching shape finally, so I could throw a few innings now and really not feel much the next day or anything like that, so that's good.
And again, 3 innings his last time out against Petersburg, in CPL play at least, getting the win and going that long, not allowing a hit in that stretch. We talked about it with Coach Austin Love just a bit ago, but John Fitzsimmons getting picked up. Obviously, you remember the bullpen with you. What was it like playing with John and then seeing him get picked up by the Royals? Had to be a pretty big thrill for you as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, he definitely deserved that. That was, that was good for him, and I guess it just shows, that if you keep working hard, I mean, I guess anything could be possible for any of us.
And for you, with your journey, that's very true, with the sense you've been all over the country playing baseball. It had to be a pretty cool experience. I mean, you're a New York native playing at Hofstra, then going out to Nevada, now in Georgia. It's just all over the place. How good of an experience has that been for you, just in life in general, moving all around the U.S.?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was pretty cool just seeing different parts of the country. I mean, I've never been out to Nevada before I went to school there, so just seeing different things is pretty cool.
And for you, trying to finish out this year on a strong note, continue with those numbers, what do you look for in the last couple of weeks to try and finish up and get on strong before you go back to school ball and say, hey, I put up pretty good numbers here in Wilson, I'm ready to go?
I just want to just keep getting better, just keep working on everything, and just keep working hard. Hopefully the results just keep coming. And
hopefully they keep paying off for Bobby Gazzola, again leading the league in appearances with 15 and ERA under 2. Very impressive anchor in the Tobs bullpen. Talk with Matt Micah coming up next to preview this game against Eatonton, and this is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran back here with Matt Micah. The Tobs getting set to take on the Eatonton Steamers for the 5th time this year, the 5th out of 8 meetings between these two rivals. Split at 2 right now. And Matt, the off day yesterday with the rain out and the Tobs, after the All-Star break, kind of that hangover effect. They had a 2-day break and then came off a little bit slow offensively. We're used to that, though, in the last couple of weeks. Just unfortunate with the way it's gone. But that game against Peninsula, let's get into it a little bit more. It was a good pitcher's duel back and forth. Right. I thought the Tobs and John Balak III, did their part in at least staying in the game. Right. Just couldn't overcome it towards the end. What did you take away from that game against Peninsula?
You mentioned it, John Balak III, he pitched well. He established, ahead, he got ahead early. Mm-hmm. He got his ground balls, got his flyouts, which is what he does. Unfortunately, the ump kind of squeezed him a couple calls here and there, and maybe missed the zone a little bit here and there, but he pitched pretty well. And
to tell you how close this game really was, Peninsula scored 2 of their 3 runs on double steals. I don't think I've seen something like that since Little League. Have you? Were in the sense where first and third, runner steals second, and when the throw goes down to second, the runner from third came in to score. So they scored 2 of the runs. That was the difference in the ballgame. Have you seen anything like that at this level?
Absolutely not. Like you said, at this level, that was back in Little League. Yeah, the hidden ball trick. Do whatever you can to score runs, but not at this level. And I was shocked that Lowry kept on throwing down, because at one time, the second time, he actually got the guy out at second base, and then they couldn't make the the double play at home.
Pretty close, and again, the Tobs lose 3-2. They had their chances at the end too offensively, even though they sputtered back and forth. Ridge Gonson, better mention, to hit a home run first from the right side. So Ridge showcasing his power from both sides of the plate now, coming off that All-Star game experience for him. But for Wilson, and now we look at it, they lose to Kernersville in that exhibition contest. Getting down to the stretch. This is the stretch we've been looking at, been talking about, taking on Eatonton tonight, Fayetteville for 2 tomorrow. This is the time where they really have to get going. And with the frustration of the rainouts, how do you flip that switch, Matt? You played back in the day. How do you flip the switch to get them going, hey, we've got to play our best baseball right now, or teams like Wilmington or Morehead City are going to pass us, and that's the end of our season?
Oh, it's the toughest thing, especially with these rainouts. It's great to have the rest, but at the same time, it's that double sword where you're having the rest, but you can't get in a groove again. So you have to just relax, take it day by day, and, talk with your teammates, go over like film if there's any film of anything, like your swing, your pitching mechanics, talk with your pitchers, talk with your catchers, and just kind of get in a groove.
And we'll see if the Tobs can do that offensively. And let's talk about John Fitzsimmons, because it's our first time that we get to talk back and forth about it. How cool is that to see? What he came through the last couple of weeks. He arrived at Wilson about a month ago, played, had 6 saves and 7 appearances for him. So his impressive numbers he put up, we're not surprised because of what he did at Canisius, but then all of a sudden that one All-Star game performance, at least for him, then to turn it around and get signed the next day, it's pretty cool to see. I know we were both at that mini press conference where he signed.
Yeah, I had no idea he did. He had the opportunity. We were doing Tobs Talk, and next thing you know, we get the call saying, yeah, he's signing with the Kansas City Royals, and that was awesome to see. He put so much work into getting signed and stuff like that, and I'm just waiting for him to break out with his Major League debut.
And of course, the Kansas City Royals need bullpen help. We know it'll be probably a long journey for John, but hopefully up there sooner rather than later. We know we have a lot of prospects as well on the Tobs team. We'll see if they get their name called maybe next year in the draft. We'll wrap up the show next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. And another episode of Tobs Talk in the books. A fantastic Friday presented by Wilson Orthopedic tonight. The Tobs host the Edenton Steamers for their 5th matchup out of 8 this year. Longtime East Division rivals will go at it 2-2 right now currently. Back and forth between the head-to-head matchups. Getting the start for Edenton tonight will be the right-hander Connor Cuff out of Pennsylvania. It's been very good for Edenton, 3-1 with a 2.04 earned run average in his starts so far, 5 of them. This will be his 6th tonight. Julio Valdez gets the call for the Wilson Tobs, the left-hander out of Alabama State. 1-1 with an ERA just under 3, so he has been equally as impressive. We'll see who wins what might be a pitcher's duel tonight, which would be a change between Edenton and Wilson. The runs have come aplenty when they have played the last couple of times. Hope to see you at the ballpark. We'll be back next time on Sunday for Tobs Talk here on Greenlight.